Sierra? Yeah, hey, Sierra, just want to let you know I'm in the studio and I'll be home.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey.
Welcome to Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and friends. I'm your host, Will Strayhorn. I'm in the studio live and in living color with my beautiful women, Miss Rhaea Goff
Hi.
and Paula B.
What's up?
Yes,
I'm
it
so
is
excited to be here.
October the 11th, 2017. It's almost Halloween.
I know.
Almost Halloween. And we can't forget our new audio producers doing an awesome job, Mr. Kevon Robinson.
What's going on?
Yes. We can't forget Nikki Curry with her polka dots on.
What's up, Nick? She looks
What's up,
cute.
boo? Don't she look cute?
Yeah, she looks super cute.
She's trying to catch her a fish.
What?
She's slaying.
Yes. I'm so happy to see y'all. I haven't seen Raya since we did the taping for the video.
Absolutely.
That's in. I need
Okay.
to show that to you.
Okay.
And Paula B. Well, I see you all the time, but this is your first time in the studio in a while.
In a while, I'm so
Wow.
happy to be back. I missed it.
Yeah.
I love radio. I missed this.
You have the face for a lot of things.
I
but,
do. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to be here. We have so much to talk about.
We do. So, catch me up. What's been going on? I know that you had an issue in your family.
Yes, I recently lost my sister. She died on September 23rd, and we had to celebrate her. We celebrated her birthday on September 24th because that was her birthday, and she can you hear me? Okay, she fought a long battle.
Mm-hmm.
It's
How old was she?
she would have been 54.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe 54. It's difficult. It's I'm having a hard time. I really haven't really cried because I have to take care of Sierra, which is her daughter,
Yeah.
but I raised her. My mom is going through. It's just a whole lot. And my sister was cremated, so her memorial service is the 21st of this month. So. Yeah. We're still going through the process because there's really no closure as of yet.
Yeah, you haven't had the closure.
So, and I'm doing her eulogy, so I'm really excited about that, that I'm able to talk about her because she hasn't, she's not a member of church or anything, but nobody knows her like I do. But the grief part, I'm still going to work, and everybody, I think what people are thinking just because they see me laughing and joking and going to this event and having a great time, but the hurt that I am feeling and the devastation is just too much to bear because I was in Walmart and I was like, oh my God, I got to call my sister because I haven't talked to her all day. And I stopped for a moment and I was like, I can't call her.
Yeah.
I can't because she loved to hear about all the events that we went to because when she was in the hospital, she would have people, the nurses pull up their Facebook page to see what it was that we were doing. She was so proud of everything that I have done thus far.
Right.
So it is definitely a void in my life. It's just weird saying that my sister has passed away and she's not here. I can't even explain it to you.
Yeah. And some people say that, that it should, I guess, quote unquote, make it easier because she was ill and you could prepare yourself. But I remember when my grandmother passed a couple of years ago, she had a stroke. So we saw the decline, but it didn't make it any easier when she passed. I remember T.D. Jakes at Whitney Houston's funeral. He did his speech. You saw that? Death had won or something like that, and it was just saying that someday you'll be driving and then you'll hear a voice and it'll make you smile. So those are some things. Her birthday, my grandmother's birthday was last Thursday, and I can swear I heard her talking to me all day. Yeah, and it was just wonderful. So I know that you'll feel moments like that, and of course we're here.
Yes,
to help you.
I've had a lot of support.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like. I really shouldn't say I like it, don't like it, but because people, I guess they don't know what to say. It's something that I will never say is that, oh, she's in a better place. Oh, she, well, you knew it was coming. You know what I mean? I don't like that. You know what I mean? I get it. I get what you're saying. But, I would prefer to have her here.
Yeah.
And then when the thing of it is that when I went to Connecticut, you know, my mom gave me the call and said we needed to be there right away. My sister was out, you know what I mean? But I was calling her name, calling her name. And she woke up enough to say, just like this, "Hey, Paula." I was like, "Hey, Lee." And then she just closed her eyes and never said anything else.
Wow.
And, you know, she held my hand because she could hear us talking to her because we each had a turn to, you know, took our time. You know, we each went one by one to talk to her. She took my hand and she was squeezing it as hard as she could. Because in that squeeze, I felt that she was saying to me, "Thank you for everything that you've done for me. I love you so much, and I'm scared. But this is the one thing that I could not fix for her because I was her fixer. I was like her Olivia Pope.
You're everybody's
you know,
fixer,
I try to be.
Yeah.
I need a fixer right now myself. But the thing of it is,
Moving
is
along.
that,
Yeah.
the thing of it is that I couldn't fix it, you know, and I just told her to rest now. You know what I mean? But I'll never forget that feeling of that squeeze. Something.
And it's also those moments when we, as your supporters, we don't know what to say.
Right.
Because you can't say, you know, well, it'll get better, or you'll feel better, or, you know, just give it time, because there is no, time limit to it. So all I can say is I'm here.
Right.
And, you know, let me know if you need anything, but you know all of that.
Yeah, because I can call Will in the midnight hour.
And you do.
And I do.
Yeah.
And he makes me laugh, and we,
yes.
you know, I appreciate
cuss you out a little bit,
cuss
make
me
you
out
laugh.
a little bit, yeah. But he
Missed you a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does. We went out. We went out Saturday night.
Saturday night.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
I had a lot of wine. We went to what was
yes.
it?
And we can talk about your alcoholism.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to Al-Anon. He's got
yes.
Isn't it great?
We went to the legend. What was it?
The legendary Pearls.
Pearls Gala.
Yes.
At the Main.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Top notch. My former client Monica Diggs from Journey for Success.
Yes, Journey for Success.
And they help single mothers. They threw the banquet and they awarded people. I didn't know Barbara Sierra.
Yes.
Was,
Barbara had an amazing story.
She had a wonderful
and
story.
And so did Brenda Andrews, who dear friends of mine, both.
Did not know she was black.
Yeah.
You didn't know who was black?
The lady that owns the New Journal and Guide.
You didn't.
When I see her, she looks Caucasian. In my mind, every time I saw her, I was like, I wonder why a white woman owned the black magazine.
Yes. Brenda is
ain't nobody saying that.
Yeah. She is amazing. She is so sweet and down to earth.
She was,
smart.
yeah.
Oh my God, she's just super amazing.
She looked amazing in that red.
Yeah, she did.
Too.
She was tearing that red up.
Everybody was really nice.
Everybody was really nice.
The Kappas came through. And
they did their thing. Yeah, they did. Will wants to be a Kappa.
Gotta go ahead and make
it
that.
was definitely
want to be a Kappa.
Oh
yes,
my
he
God,
does.
yes.
It was definitely a who's who event. It
nice.
was beautiful.
Well, the Maine is always a beautiful venue.
Yeah, so
anyway.
we're going there on Saturday to another black tie.
It's not there.
It's not there?
Mm-mm.
I'm wrong.
No, I wish. It's the Courtyard Marriott.
Oh, okay.
We're
I
doing
thought it was
a rooftop party. It's an all
party.
black party.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're doing the red carpet for that. So
Yeah,
I'm
we're doing the
super
red
excited.
carpet for that. So
Yeah.
we're excited. I still haven't found anything to wear.
Will has so much stuff in his closet.
I can
I really
imagine.
don't. I really just don't get it. How you cannot find? I mean, I ordered my jacket came in.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
Okay, so you're good.
It's really nice.
All right,
Yes.
so
I'm
you're
wearing
good.
jeans.
So I'm gonna ask y'all.
Wait, it's all black event. Why are you wearing jeans?
Because it's a
and I asked her that, but
I'm so confused about this.
because I got this beautiful black jacket with the bell sleeves. It's really nice. It just came in. I have these ripped jeans that I want to wear with my black fringe boots. I'm gonna look really hot.
It's all black. Everything's
all
black.
Everything's black. Yeah, everything is black.
Okay.
There is no like you have to be formal or anything.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
Just express yourself pretty much.
Gotcha.
And I'm just gonna bling myself with silver, and my
Gotcha.
hairstylist is gonna make my hair look really great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Shout out to
We'll
Will.
see.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see. So I have a
ahead.
question for you.
Sure.
This is also for Kevon and Nikki. Nikki. Yeah. So, everybody knows all these questions are pretty much based on relationships, pretty much, because everybody knows I'm on this lifelong quest.
You are.
I made my Pinterest for my wedding.
Oh,
Did I
really?
tell you
Nice.
that?
That was a secret page, or is it public?
I don't
You
know.
know,
Can you do?
You can make a secret page that nobody can
I hope
see.
it's secret.
Wait.
I
You should
really
know.
hope it's secret.
It must
You
not
don't
be
know?
secret.
I don't know.
If you don't know it's secret, it's not secret.
Ay.
Put the lock next to it.
I got to put a lock.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because
Anyways.
it's corny. Yeah. But anyway, This is going to happen before the end of next year.
Oh, wait.
So I want to know, is being faithful hard? And this is not just physical,
Right.
but also little indiscretions like I'm guilty, of the intentional Facebook likes, the little poking feature, flirting, things like that.
You said you're guilty of that?
I'm guilty.
And I
of
said
it,
stay
yeah.
off
I mean,
Facebook.
because I didn't know why people were poking me, and then I Googled it, and I was like, oh, that's what that means.
What
So
does that mean? I thought it was just
They're
like a
flirting.
fun
They're
thing.
poking you. Like, poke.
Oh, really?
Nobody has ever poked
I
me.
didn't know.
Nobody's ever poked you?
No,
I
mean,
get people
how do you
poking
check
me
when
all
somebody's
the
poking you? Like, where did you go?
It tells
The
you.
upper right, it'll tell you. Poke. Or it should come up in your thing, such and such poke you. And then
No.
you poke them back, and they poke you back.
Okay, like I need
And
to
then somebody
conversation
DM
with me.
somebody.
What that meant. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
you been poked?
Yeah, like a little tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
it's if being faithful is easy, then why do so many people cheat?
Well, I
So
think
do you think
initially,
is being faithful hard?
You has go
Both
ahead.
of y'all.
well, I think initially,
All of y'all.
I think initially it's probably easy because you're that whole infatuation stage.
Yeah.
And, he's the best thing in the world,
Yeah.
or she's the best thing in the world, and next thing you know, maybe 10, 15 years, 20 years later, you're like, okay, and I'm still with this person.
Yeah.
But I would like to believe, because I have never been with anybody for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
that we're still gonna be faithful. But I think it's gonna be intentional and a lot of work with it too. I think that. We're going to have to stay in tune with each other,
Mm-hmm.
do check-ins with each other, travel, and making sure we're supporting each other. And when the support leaves, you got to be able to say something.
Yeah.
Because it's easily
Not fall into that place of complacency.
right. Because it's easy to get emotionally attached to people or
Mm-hmm.
go outside looking for support as far as your dreams and different things like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it takes a lot of attention and a lot of work to make it last for decades and decades to go.
Mm-hmm.
But you're married, so
But I have talked to a lot of married people that have been married 50, 60 years, and they say that it is a lot of work. It's all about communication. In some marriages, you do end up growing apart. But sometimes that may be a good thing because you can use it as a growth mechanism to come back together. And in marriage, you fall out of love with your mate. You don't like them, but you love them. There's different things that you have to do. But most importantly, it's about the communication. And when you find that one person is not hearing you and they have a made up mind and you can't communicate, it can bring devastation to your relationship. So, I'm always transparent on the shows. I have been seeing a therapist and enjoying it all the while because I have an opportunity to really
Wasn't today your appointment?
Wednesdays is my appointment, but because of everything that happened,
Oh, okay.
I
should've been.
had to cancel several appointments.
Okay.
But my next appointment is November, I think 1st, which
Okay.
is the Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've learned a lot about myself, in a marriage and what happens to a lot of women. And I think sometimes, I'm not going to say that's when the unfaithfulness comes in, is that when you get to know yourself and you've lost yourself for so many years because you're so busy taking care of your husband, your kids, the wife, going to work, this, thus, and so, and you have totally lost yourself. Because I'm reading this book called Codependent No More, which is a very good book.
I've read it many years ago.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's very insightful. But I found myself in a lot of those characters. Not saying that you're just going to jump ship, but it just lets you know that you have to be your own person. And the way I deal with things now is totally different than what I would have done a long time ago, because it gives you find your self-confidence.
Right.
And sometimes that doesn't work well because people don't understand it.
Did you answer my question? Is being faithful hard?
Yes,
You're
I did.
really educating me on a lot of things, but I was like, did she answer my question?
No, being faithful is not hard.
It's not hard.
No, it's not hard.
Yeah, I don't think it's hard. I just think it's a little bit easier to fall into the temptations of others.
Really?
That's probably the reason.
Is it hard for you?
Yeah.
Like you said in the beginning, it's not what I really think I need to do, and it just dawned on me. I downloaded the book, The 5 Love Languages.
Yes, that's
Something's there's a disconnect in the beginning when things are wonderful, and of course you put your best feet forward. Everything's wonderful and it's going
Yes.
well, and of course this is the only person that's for me. But then once you get settled, and then you start to fall off, you don't do those same things. My mom used to always say, the thing that you did to get that person, you have to keep doing to keep that person. And I think I'm guilty of it, getting comfortable.
But not
and
everybody does that. My grandmother said that too. Like what you do.
I think the majority of the people do experience that.
to keep it going.
Mm-hmm. Do you do it?
No, I mean, no.
How long have you been married?
I think 25 years. I got married in 1993.
So you've kept that momentum going all 25 years?
No, I mean, I'm a romanticist, for sure.
Are you? Okay.
I am. But the thing of it is that your husband doesn't keep doing the same thing that he got you, because men are natural born hunters. So once they have hunted and conquered you and married you, no, they're not doing the same thing. You know, they sitting on the couch doing the L Bundy, relaxing,
Don't generalize.
burping. Okay, I'm sorry.
Don't
I wanted to ask but what I'm saying is that I just want to talk about the love language.
Uh-huh.
Because that is something.
Well, I don't know anything about it. I downloaded it, but I haven't read it, so I don't know mine.
Right, exactly. Now, me and my friends talk about the love languages a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My love language is I'm an emotional person. Mm-hmm. You know, like I said, I'm a romanticist. I will try to buy you cards. I'm very affectionate. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's my love language. You know, I can hug and kiss on you all day, dote on you, all of that. But I was always upset because, you know, all the girls were getting flowers at work and stuff like that. And I couldn't understand why my husband wasn't sending me flowers or doing all of these things. I was jealous. But then I had to find out that that wasn't his love language. His love language is, okay, if you need to go, because everybody knows I hate to drive. But if you need to go to Chesapeake to go over to Nikki's house, I'll take you over there. That's his love language.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Right, but he has to meet your love language, and you have to meet his.
That was my question.
Because that's what ends up happening. Once you become aware, like my love language is quality time. So if you give me time or make time for me, that's important to me, because time is something that is valuable.
So it takes communication to find out exactly how do I please you.
Correct. And so now that he knows that my love language is quality time, he has to put effort to give me time. And once I figure out his love language, where his affirmations, I have to make sure I am constantly giving him, like, babe, I appreciate you. Thank you for this. I have to give him his love language to make him feel satisfied.
Yeah, but the thing of it is that if you don't know how to do that, because that's not in you. Like, I'm a romanticist. I want romance. You see what I mean? I want you to romance. I want you to send me flowers. I want to come home and you have like a bottle of perfume of Angel, because that's my favorite. You know, sitting on the table like, baby, I've been thinking about you. You know, I'm not going to. That's how you get your feelings hurt, because you have the expectation that he's going to do that, and when he doesn't do it, it's disappointment.
Have you ever let them know that that's what you like?
Oh, absolutely.
And they just don't listen.
But I think
because that's not his love language. And so if I
want
some
that's not
Angel,
the point, right?
It's not that's not the point.
But the thing of it is, I go buy my own stuff, and it makes me happy. But if he takes me over Nikki's
negates
house,
the purpose.
Right.
Why?
You need to have the conversation. This is how you show me that you love me.
Correct. Because this is what I need from you.
Yeah.
In order for me to feel loved and appreciated, I need you to do this.
Which means they need to be willing to step outside their box.
Correct.
Right.
So
I haven't even read it, and I got it.
Right. But the thing of it is that he will say, well, this is how I show you. You know, I don't need to go out and buy you this, because that's what society says. But he's not getting it. But the thing of it is that if I don't, his is, well, you know, you need to cook for me. It's the action. But the thing of it is that, you know, I'm giving you the action, cooking, doing.
Is that what they want?
Yeah.
Right. So you're meeting his need. Yeah. So he needs to meet your need. That's what.
Right.
So you need to go cook.
So
I've been telling you.
So you cook, and he needs to give you gifts.
Putting a negligee on and go cook.
I cooked this weekend.
In your negligee?
No, I don't have one of those, because I like T-shirts. I never spent money on that stuff because it was always a waste of time for me. I like shirts.
What
but
about your
about
husband?
You.
It's not about you.
It's about him.
Got it. I'm going to teach a class on it.
Yeah.
Next week.
I'm not. Right. They got all the answers, and I'm not agreeing with them, because you're not hearing what I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying.
What am I saying?
You're telling me that he's not doing it because that's not his love language. But in order for him to please you, he needs to know your love language so he can do what pleases you.
Right.
Not do what pleases you and he does what pleases you. And to think that you guys are going to mesh well together.
Okay, I'm going to go with that, because you can't think for me, well, this is what should please her and this would make her happy, because
it
this
takes
is
the
what
conversation.
I think that will make her happy.
Correct.
Exactly. You need to have
the
a conversation.
Correct.
Right.
The conversation.
Correct. So that's what the love language is about, is knowing what you need from that person.
I can't wait to read that
and
book.
have that person be able to give it to you, and you're being able to communicate.
So that's
why
I cheated.
This is what I need.
That's why I cheated.
I
wasn't getting.
Why did you cheat?
Evidently, my love language is what pleases me. You don't have to buy me now. I can buy my own stuff.
Okay. Right,
you need to give me attention And then I
quality
need
time.
touch. I need physical
Okay.
touch.
Mhm.
A
So
lot
okay,
of
so if he
physical
gives you
touch.
attention, so let me ask you this. Okay,
What?
you're saying that I need attention.
Yeah.
I need you to give. You be like Paula B. I need you to give me attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you attention. So while I'm in his kitchen, I want to come in here so I can go ahead and do what I have to do and pay attention to you at the same time. Will that satisfy you?
But I don't think
I'm just asking you.
Is that attention?
no.
That's not attention.
What
That's
is
not
that?
attention.
Like a chore.
Right.
Right. So
Attached.
That's
so,
doing for.
So
I haven't read the languages, so I don't know.
What type of attention do you need?
Attention for me
Right.
is if I'm watching a movie, you come
Right.
sit beside me or come lay in my lap or
Or
whatever.
touch
Watch
like
TV.
this
Yes.
when you're watching TV
But
together.
what if I don't want to watch that movie?
Well, see,
It's
you're
not about you.
No, I'm just asking. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just asking. What
You-
if that movie is not interesting to
Come
me?
here. Come here. Come here. You're doing it to please me because you know
Right,
that that's
right.
what I need.
It's not about you.
It's there's a give and take. There's a sacrifice in a relationship.
So when I was at therapy, I'm glad that I don't want to take all the time. To talk
Oh,
about this.
it's worth it. Go ahead.
When I was
I want
in-
to help fix you
when-
today. Come on.
when I was in
We'll fix her
therapy-
life.
When I was, talking to my therapist,
Okay.
she did say, I understand what it is that you're saying,
Mhm.
and that's true, and I agree with it. But once you find what you like, your individual likes, you
Mhm.
see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a hard thing to incorporate in your marriage? So what she's saying to me is that, like, when you get to a certain point in your marriage, you say the kids are gone, you're an empty nester. I like to go to knitting class. You like to play golf. You're going for the weekend. I'm going to knitting class, and we just, passing. Saying, hey, well, this is my schedule. This is your schedule, and I'll see you. Da 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 da. So now we're all into our individual lives. We're married, but we're doing our own individual thing because we have passion and we have time to do what it is that we like. Do you think that that can having your own individual life and being married at the same time can work?
Yes. Because I think it's, you're asking me or you just asking him?
Anyone.
I do. I think you have to have your own individual. You have to be an individual outside your marriage, but you have to be intentional in your marriage to make that person feel important. So whether you is that you're carving out time for yourself is important, but you still need to put that other person as a priority. But go ahead.
Okay. No. Okay. So this diagram, I'm learning in school. I'm happy. So this is one partner. This is the other partner. This is God, given that you guys have a belief in God. The way the relationship, a good balanced relationship works is God is in the center of you both. And this is you as an individual. This is the other person as an individual. Anybody, any two people. The portion that overlaps each other, that's your togetherness. Those are the things that you do together, your hobbies that you share together. But there's still a big majority that's still you. That's you doing what makes Paula happy. That's you with your friends. And they still have time to do themselves. I think in my situation, what happened is it was a situation where we were all over the place. And we had no time to be ourselves, so we lost our identity. Everything was about each other.
Right.
And that's when relationships suffer. That's when, people say, I just smothered, I lost myself, blah, blah, blah. But the healthy, balanced relationship is when God is in the center, and then there's still a lot of individuality there.
Right.
And then you still have that core time that's near the foundation of the relationship where are your shared interests. And I think that a lot of people don't get that. I didn't get that, of course, after 16 years, but I understand now for my next relationship.
Yeah, I enjoy going to see my therapist. Her name is Stephanie, because
Hey, Stephanie.
Hey Stephanie, I have really learned a lot about myself and the way I handle situations now. I really try to keep everything in perspective. It's not like I don't care or I'm being nonchalant about it. It's just about keeping it in perspective, keeping on topic and not going all over the place, because what I find is that when couples argue, you forget really what the argument is all about because you're talking about everything else but really what you're arguing about, and you never get a chance to fix it.
And then you're not listening.
And somebody's not listening. Yeah,
Right.
nobody's listening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trying to
Nobody's
prove a
listening.
point,
Yeah,
usually.
right. And
Right,
it doesn't work.
I am really doing good in school.
You are.
You got it.
Yay.
You
You
got
go,
it.
boy.
You
All
got
right.
it. I see you.
Should
I
I
see you.
fire Stephanie and hire you as
Not
my life
yet.
coach?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let me see how these research papers come out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about, Boo?
Gosh, it's just we're talking about relationships. We had a great conversation at work. So it's quote unquote cuffing season about to
Right.
We are
Still
embarking on cuffing season.
Okay.
And just for people who don't know, that's basically when the seasons change. You got to have your significant other, your boo, to cuddle up with to keep you warm during the winter months.
Yes,
So
my
cuffing
favorite.
season.
This is my favorite season.
Really?
Oh my God!
I'm
Yes,
You still on campus, so you all
yes,
cuffed
I
up.
love the fall.
No comment. Right.
Right, I love the fall.
So the question or discussion today was not everybody's meeting people, getting to know people for this, preparing for cuffing season. So somebody asked, well, have you done like background checks on people? Like, how much are you really investing to get to know this person?
Wow.
And I was like, so I guess for me is, if I have to do all this investigating, background checks, going to the police station to hear the social security number, I don't think I need to be with this person. That's just where I am at. That's just a lot of work when trying to invest in somebody early on. So they're like, well, do you at least Google them, go through their Facebook page, do all this stuff? And I was like...
I did it last night and this morning. And then this afternoon, let them know what I found out. Because their name wasn't what they told me.
You are so crazy.
So I guess the question is, how much are you willing to do? I mean, what happens to just getting to know people? Like just trying to get to know them?
That's out.
I mean, so
That's
you rely you base your whole relationship on social media?
Because
Not based on
people
social media,
front on social
but
media.
because
Yes,
I
they
met
do.
this person online, blackpeoplemeet.com.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
They sent me a picture. In the picture had a company vehicle which had a name. So of course I went to the Facebook page of the name, which was a funeral home, and looked through the team to find out the name. So I'm like, that's not the name they gave me. So I Googled the name, and then it came up. There's a website that had like the relatives they know. It had an address, had a phone number, had the real age, which was like 11 years older than what they told me. Had the obituary of their mother, which gave me some good information. So when they came over this afternoon, they were saying something about background. So I said, yeah, speaking of background. I said, I did. I said, my report came back. And I just gave all this information. They were just like shocked.
So are you still talking to the person or no?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything that I was concerned about. Okay. I mean, it's really not anything that's going to be permanent.
Right.
But, yeah.
But
It's nothing that's going to be considered for cuffing season.
Just something to do
Right.
now. Just hashtag temporary.
Right, but I'm just saying that why don't just...
Yeah, we have a listener or viewer saying you can go to, what is it, Spokio?
That's what came up. And all the information came up.
Thank you, Kara King, my girl.
But the thing of it is, you can't get to know, like I am in agreement with you, you can't get to know anybody anymore. You know, everybody just, whatever that thing she just said, you know, just to Google people. You understand what I'm saying? What about dating and, like the old folks say, courting or courting and, you know, getting to really learn them and then learning that dark side. You understand what I'm saying? Because by the time you don't know really if all the information on there is true. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody's going to embellish a little bit.
I was hoping that age wasn't true, but...
It is true?
Right, it is true.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? And then why do all of that? Because you're going to get found out when they meet you.
And regardless, whatever you do in the dirt, it's going to come. In the dark, it's going to come to light, regardless. So I just for me, the girl kept on saying, well, you know what's 99 cents just to do a wait, what? So I guess you could go online, pay 99 cents, and you could find out all this dirt about people if you want to.
Well, what would be a deal breaker? What would you find out that would make you not want to talk to somebody?
Well, see, first of all, me, myself, I'm not doing that. That's A number one. I'm not going to do it.
You're married.
Yeah. It doesn't even matter.
If you weren't married.
If I wasn't
so
married,
you wouldn't want to know
that.
if the person's married instead of you falling in love and then down
I mean,
the
it can
line.
say that he's married, but they might be separated.
Still married.
On the thing.
You are a romanticist.
Yeah, I am a romanticist. Yeah. I'm not doing all of that. I want to
hashtag naive.
Hashtag. I know I'm not naive, but the thing. Well, maybe a little. But maybe a little. But you know, I want to get to know you. I want to hang out with you. I want to have fun. I don't want to rely on, you know what I mean, judge you. You know what I mean? Because the bottom line to the issue, I can't say the word because all the words, they're not going. They're not up there. Everybody got stuff with them.
Everybody got some,
Everybody got some stuff with them.
Right.
Bottom line, case closed. I don't care if it's on here, if you're dating them, you know, it's real live and in color, or if it's on here. Everybody got some stuff with them. So if you're going to rely on this, you'll never get with anybody. Bottom line, case closed if you're going to be Googling everything about them.
You wouldn't do it?
Wait, but just for the record. Wait.
Oh,
wait.
she done did it already.
Wait.
Did you do it?
But we did it together. Like the person that
to be fun.
Right, it was funny. Like it was like when we were together.
No, that wasn't funny. It was.
I was gonna say that was the impression you. This is gonna be fun.
No, he didn't Google me. We Googled him.
Oh, okay.
We were doing something, watching something or whatever. I said, you know what? I never Googled you. And he was like, do you Google people? I said, no. But now that we're talking about it, let me just go ahead. But I didn't. We really didn't go into it. I have never really like searched trying to find anything. I think there has been enough. Like I'm not saying we have issues, but I found it enough just going through the process of living and enjoying life. We have endured some like moving and different things, and how he handled situation has just come out based upon everyday life situations. So, I mean, I really didn't need to Google.
What about
but you cannot go find it.
I feel like
Google.
I have to Google.
Yeah.
Now,
when he contacted me, the first thing I did was I Googled him.
That's all I know. He's a millennial. Give me a
What
break.
does that mean?
Oh my God! Don't even get me
It's
started.
available technology that can
He's a
benefit you.
millennial. How old are you?
23.
Yeah, he's a millennial. That case closed.
How I found, but I figured out the stuff I found about him by enduring life is stuff that you're not gonna find for Googling people. And I think by dealing with life up and down is more important to me than what I'm gonna find out on your social media page. So I mean, I don't even think I don't know if we have the right conception of what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that it's something that I base completely, but it's definitely some useful information for when you tell me some things that don't add up. We need to find out who's telling the truth. I think it's just going to cut out a whole bunch of heartache, and it's available. When you were dating 25 years ago, it wasn't available, so of course you didn't do it. But now in 2017, it's available now. So I don't think you should knock it because it's available now. I don't think it means that you don't trust anybody, but you know.
But it takes all the fun out of and then the mystery out of everything. Okay, I see this hot dude. I was like, "What's your name? Where do you live? Where were you born?" All right, let me go Google homie. And if girls were in the bathroom real quick, I come out, yo, you cut. You understand? Because I don't like what's on there. I mean, that's not...
Okay. All right. Nikki, what about you? You're not getting away with it. I know you Google people. You have to. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
And there's some other techniques that I know.
You do? Okay, well, I'll get with you on those. Yeah. I always want to stay up to date. What you want to talk about since you don't Google people?
I'm mad about the whole Googling thing still.
Well,
don't be mad.
Yes.
Google.
But I do believe that the truth does come to the light.
Yeah.
And you just wait.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait.
I will wait.
Can ask certain questions.
It'll come out.
Like we are very, as women, we're very, intuitive and inquisitive.
And we know how to ask the right questions.
And I do too.
And it's not,
Exactly.
it's a little bit different. It's not basically what you've been doing. It's like if I'm asking a question, 9 times out of 10 I already know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm just trying to see what your response is, and then I don't have to.
And being that
you.
I know that that's what you think, it's not going to work to your
No,
benefit.
ask the same question 3 different ways.
Right, and not at the same time. But I'll just
Not
ask
at
the
the same time.
but I just ask the question like what and then like what did you do this weekend? Oh, nothing, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh. I said, oh, did you go see such
And then they're telling
like,
themselves.
oh, what
And then we have good memories too.
Right.
Okay, I'll give
you
my
guys
memory is
think
horrible.
Horrible.
Right.
Horrible.
I
So
can
just be
attest
honest
to
It's
up
due to
front.
medication. It's not due to because I'm a
It's-
man.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
What kind of medication? I don't want to know.
My chapter.
Because he has the worst
Okay.
memory ever.
What you want to talk about?
I think.
Before
I
our
gotta get
first
on
guest
my
to be calling
phone.
in
I
it.
think that I sent you.
Weinstein.
Yes, Harvey Weinstein. You know, he's this big Hollywood producer, and he's in a lot of trouble for sexually harassing women.
Yeah.
Hollywood stars, and it's just all coming to light.
They fired. He was co-founder.
Fired. Yeah.
Of the-
Fired.
And then I was just like, oh my God, this, you know how I felt about the whole Bill Cosby thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now for him, all these women are coming out of the woodwork. I found out there were several lawsuits that he had, but he gave them money, paid them off. They did wire this young lady, this model, this Italian model, because he was trying to get her to watch him while he was taking a shower.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, in Hollywood, everybody knows the deal in Hollywood, especially these women, what they do because they want to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of, I'm not saying what he did was, what I'm saying is totally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing of it is that when you go in somebody's room or they invite you and you're not in the business, but you're trying to make it in the business, you know what time it is.
You know what yeah.
Now all of a sudden you want to fall out and have a James Brown breakdown, and you so distraught because he tried to do this, thus, and so. But a lot of those women that I can't remember all the actresses' name, a lot of them that were in his room, it was just ironic that they all won Oscars and they were all up there thanking him. So I'm saying to myself, how devastated were you? You're devastated now, but how devastated were you at that time when he put you in that movie? You didn't win that Oscar.
Our word last week was platform, because sometimes things you'll say, and then once we say it, it's out there.
Sure.
So we want to avoid incriminating ourselves.
Okay.
Having to explain, or
Sure.
being like, who was the guy who had to go back to apologize for saying about women?
Oh, you talk about
Cam Newton?
Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, I don't want to have to go back and do that.
Well, that whole Cam Newton thing was ridiculous, because come to find out that young lady ended up, one of her friends outed her because she was saying all these racial slurs. So she just got outed.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear
And the
that.
thing of it is that all he said was, oh, how cool it was to hear a woman say
That's
that.
not what he said.
Well, I'm paraphrasing. that,
And that's not how he said it.
Well, anyway, talk about
we're sensitive. Society is
what is it,
sensitive.
en routing or something? I
I'm
don't
talking
know.
about like a route that.
And some
Yeah.
en route thing. I don't even know what it is. Some
Yeah.
football term. Me, I didn't see where any woman should been offended by that, because it's just like me saying, telling somebody something about some boxing term, and dudes are probably surprised. Hey, I didn't know. You knew that. What's so hard about that? What's offensive about that? Because he said that. What was wrong with it? That he had to lose his endorsement. But
he lost an endorsement?
Yes, sir.
I think the way when he said it, and then I think from his facial expressions, it looked like he caught it, because he did like that. It came across to me as degrading to women. He was like, it was just funny to hear a woman talk about.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
because there's a lot of women. I mean, there's
Almost
women
the
that's into
same
football now,
if
but
Trump said, it's just funny to hear blacks talk about investing. That wouldn't be offensive to you?
I mean, absolutely. But the thing of it is that to me, he didn't say it in that content, in that manner. That's to me. I mean, that's my opinion. I really don't.
You're
think,
entitled.
Yeah, and I don't think that he should have lost his endorsement, and then come to find out, should she get fired from her job for being saying racial slurs?
For it.
Yeah. Right? Am I right?
You're awfully quiet.
I just feel like you said the word platform, and I don't want to have to go back and apologize to nobody for the things I say out my mouth. So saying nothing sometimes says it all.
Right.
You're right. She's silent.
Well, I mean, that's just how I feel
Silent
about
is
it.
the
Yeah.
word.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not just how I feel about
Yeah.
it. I mean, not.
But I just think the Dove commercial, I just think
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
some
what is
reason
up with
we're
that?
just extremely sensitive nowadays.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everybody gets offended so easily.
Yes. I mean, give me a break. I heard something about, oh, if I use Dove soap, am I going to turn white? Is that what it was?
In the commercial, I think I saw it, but I'm not even sure if
It was
what.
a piece. It was like a little piece where it showed the African American model flip off her shirt and
and
she
then-
turned Caucasian. But
Yeah.
there was more to the
But
video.
then she turned like
There's other
Hispanic.
races. Yeah, there's other
Yeah.
races that they just cut out.
So of course, oh my God, they're saying black's not good enough.
So they took 5 seconds of a video
Yeah.
and turned it into an injustice.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying.
what they did with the
Everybody's
Bible.
just doing too much.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Hey,
Wait.
platform.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Nothing.
That's the
No
new
comment.
buzzword platform.
Platform.
No,
yeah.
it's just one of those things that so much is going on in this world, and everybody has an opinion. And I mean, it's like that whole Jamel Hill.
Yeah.
Her, even though she is an ESPN, she
Yeah.
talks about sports. But there comes her platform she has as an audience. She talks about sports, but there is so much going on in this world that you want to speak about. So how do you ignore it when you have this audience before you? But she used her platform to speak her opinion. Now she's suspended for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, like, how do I use the platform that I have to help my people without losing my job?
Okay.
But anytime you stand for something, you're gonna have to be able to take that risk.
Yeah.
So is that risk great enough? And it is for her, and,
Yeah.
and that's why she's doing what she does. That's what Kaepernick is doing, what he's doing. That's what Eminem is doing, what he's doing. So with the audience that you have, how can you use your influence on people to help others?
Well, I'm going to say this. a lot of people are, everybody's very sensitive. Everybody's on like high alert. That's what I'm calling it, high alert. And the one thing that I'm not seeing is I'm not seeing any movement. I hear people doing a lot of talking. I hear people doing a lot of complaining. I hear a lot of people doing a lot of pointing fingers, black people this, white people that, but I'm not seeing any movement. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing any change to make it better. I'm not seeing a group of people coming together and say, let's do this. I see people taking a knee, on a football field. I see football players being suspended and losing their jobs because they're taking a knee, but where's the ordinary, everyday people? Where's the movement? Where's it going to start? We can complain about it, the problem, but what is the resolution? I'm not seeing that.
What do you want to see? I guess the movement looks different than it did back in the day. So, like, I see pockets of people doing things. Mm-hmm. So when you say movement, what are you looking for as a whole?
Well, for me, I know that there's racism. Mm-hmm. Hands down, I'm not oblivious to that. Mm-hmm. But I also see where I think what people are ignoring, that like the millennials, you know what I mean? I'm
going to do a show on millennials.
Yes, they're different. They think different than us.
They're killing it.
They act different than us. They don't see or respond to the racism like the other generations do. I'm not saying there's not any in their generation, but it's minimal, because now it's like a no judge zone. And I think that that's the train that we need to get on. But if we keep talking about the black and white issue and all this racism and not do, like Martin Luther King, they tried to do something about it. He did do something about it. Then that movement ended. Malcolm X, once he found out the real deal, he tried to do something about it. All of them. Then the movement changed. It died. It ceased, because we really don't have any real black leaders, as far as I'm concerned, today to help squash what's going on in this world today, according to racism.
Right.
We don't have that.
We're going to continue that conversation, but we'll be having our first guest call in shortly. Let me introduce her. Her name is Jennifer Urrezio. She's a master intuitive author, teacher, and speaker. She developed soul language to help people understand their own innate insight and voice. She's an expert in using intuitive abilities in everyday life to help people achieve their goals. So we want to welcome to the show now, Miss Jennifer Urrezio. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Hold on. I think we're having some difficulties in the studio. You can't hear?
I can hear.
Okay.
Hello.
Hold on for a second. I can hear you and someone else can hear you, but the other host can't hear you. Let me adjust something.
Hello? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I think we have it going now. Okay, so sorry for the technical difficulties. I know I had to give you another phone number. We're actually expanding the studio, so they're doing some things, tweaking some things. But we want to thank you for coming on to the show to talk to us about moving past heartbreak and pain in your life. So what do you mean exactly by heartbreak?
Well, heartbreak is anything that actually breaks your heart, anything that gives you pain, anything that's betrayal, rejection, heartbreak, sorrow, despair, grief. That's all heartbreak. And that's always all going to create a feeling of not enough and lack. And it sets up this kind of situation in you where you have a big trouble being safe, being vulnerable. And so you try to kind of venture out, and what it does is you hold yourself back, whether you're conscious of it or not. And so heartbreak, you need to kind of heal that and kind of have those situations not have any charge around them, and have a neutrality around that, and learn and integrate that wisdom instead of always holding yourself back, because as my friend Jennifer Bloom says, you're pre-suffering, so you don't put yourself out there. You don't take chances in any way because you don't want to be hurt again.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Very familiar with that. Yes.
Very much so.
Hi, Jennifer. This is Raya.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? My question.
Doing well.
Oh, My question for you is, how does heartbreak impact your life, business, and money?
Oh, well, when you're in heartbreak, you're holding yourself back. You're not being generous with yourself. And the way we do anything is the way we do everything. And so what that means is you're always going to be coming from a place of lack. And so all of the decisions you are going to make are not being made from the knowing that you're whole and complete, but the feeling or the belief that there's lack there, there's not enough, that, there's going to be pain or rejection, or, why try, because you're just not going to get what you want. And so you'll say and you'll do things in your business and your life that you wouldn't do or say normally if you knew you were whole and complete. And it's as simple as saying yes to a date or saying yes to a client, where if you knew you were whole and complete, you would say no, because you would realize that that client isn't a perfect fit for you. And we all know that when we take on a client that's not a perfect fit for us, it usually ends up in disaster. So those are some tangible examples.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. My name is Paula. And
Hello.
hi. How can turning into your higher self and soul support healing heartbreak?
We can call it that, whatever people resonate with. Universe, tree, Bob, God, soul. Yes, I had a client call it Bob, by the way. And when you turn into that higher self, when you understand that there's a part of you that has never been hurt, never will be hurt, that's whole and complete, that's no safety, even if you've never felt it, that can allow that energy, that knowing, to flood areas where you're holding back and where love isn't present. And I love to do this exercise with individuals. Do you guys want to kind of play with me for a minute?
Sure.
Perfect. So I'm going to use words that people might not understand or not know. Your job all is just to, if it resonates with you, kind of get on the bus with me.
Okay.
So here goes. Divine intelligence. Fill my body with the feeling and knowing that I am safe. Where there's been heartbreak and pain, there's now only love. And if anyone wants to share what happened, I'd love to hear it.
Ladies? Ladies.
Oh, so we're supposed to share something.
Jennifer,
Well,
can you
what
repeat that
happens
for
is
us?
sometimes you have an opening of the heart, sometimes there's a warm feeling, sometimes there's a relaxation. What that allows you to do is where those places that you're holding back or you're holding pain, it spreads the love into that, and it allows actually circulation and blood to get to places that are, energetically blocked.
Okay.
But it allows you to kind of feel a bigger sense of safety and support.
Okay.
So so if I gave you the scenario of betrayal, infiltrated, how would I find healing and love out of that? Is that if somebody betrayed me?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would tell somebody if they were experiencing heartbreak around betrayal, I would ask them to take a deep breath and create a conscious connection with their higher self, whatever that looks like. You can imagine that you're sitting knee to knee, eye to eye with your higher self. You can just set the intention and just know that it's happened. You can just tune into your heart, whatever works for someone. And then I would ask that person to tune into that higher self, that heart, that soul, and ask that higher self, what do you need to accept in order for the betrayal pain to be lessened, to start to release? And then we would work on accepting that. Sometimes just having a willingness to let something go starts the things in motion. Sometimes there are certain heartbreaks that do take time, but the more that you foster them, the more that you tell the story, the more that you nurture the pain, the longer it stays.
Okay.
And I'm not suggesting people don't feel what they need to feel. I'm suggesting that you do, and yet know and to be able to tap into your soul, the higher purpose of all that. And, for those audience members that have been through heartbreak and are rolling your eyes, I'm right there with you. Several years ago, I had heartbreak that, I saw my life with this person. We were all set, and all of a sudden one day it just wasn't. And I remember, being, wrapped up in my bed, in the fetal position, and everyone going, Jen, there's a higher purpose to this, and me using every F word and some new ones to tell them, I can't hear that. I can't hear that. And slowly sitting in that, I kept going, okay, soul, okay. I might not be able to move past this pain, but I have a willingness. I have a willingness to see something bigger here. I have a willingness to feel that seed of love inside of me so I can move past the heartbreak, so I can create something bigger. There's a saying that heartbreak is an open heart. So after, and it took about 6 months of focusing concentration, but after, when about a year and a half after that, I met someone who I've been together for a couple of years with now, and I realized in meeting that person that the original heartbreak wouldn't have worked out because I was actually trying to fit myself in a box with that individual. And it was the best thing for me. It opened me up to truly experiencing great love. Now, again, if you told me that at that time, I wouldn't have agreed, right? But, so often, with heartbreak, people then shut themselves off instead of seeing it or having a willingness to see that it's an opportunity for you to receive more than you could ever imagine.
So is this a process that you do alone? Do you need the help of perhaps like a life coach, someone to help you sort through it? Because I'm not like in Paula's situation where she was saying, what did you say, betrayal?
I said betrayal and infiltrated.
So you're saying that you should look inward or to your higher self and ask, what are you trying to sort out? What good can be found in the situation? Or
yeah, and sometimes you do need support. Sometimes you need someone to, ask those higher questions for you, to walk that path with you. Because sometimes you can't, I had a mentor who said that, sometimes you're in such great fear, and God, that's what he called his higher power, would sit down next to you, and you wouldn't recognize it because you're just not at that same frequency as the God energy. So sometimes in heartbreak, you need someone to go, okay, here's an exercise, here's what we're going to do, okay, here's the little step. We don't need you to get to Z. We just here do this. So you can feel loved and supported again. All the answers are already inside of us. Sometimes we need someone to help us ask really good questions because we keep asking the same questions, getting the same answer, and it's not moving us forward. It's, so it's a mixture of both.
So I have another question to ask you about heartbreak. Do you think that in heartbreak that sometimes it's good to have your heart broken for growth and to strengthen your relationship?
That's a great question, by the way. I think all relationships are internal, meaning they're inward. So, so often in a heartbreak situation, when we readjust something internally, that relationship changes. So I think sometimes, yes, it is for strength. It does strengthen. It does broaden. It does create more communication. It does allow for something bigger. That's only if those two people involved are willing to do all of the consciousness work that makes that relationship stronger.
Right. Okay.
Right? And so that takes conscious and effort. But yeah, I mean, I've been with my boyfriend, a couple of years, and there's been a little and heartbreak and, fight and oh my God, I think you just, you really hurt me. And, going okay, what do I really want here?
Right.
Am I willing to clear what caused the heartbreak, meaning, my belief that I'm not enough or miscommunication or not expressing what I want, right? And so it did strengthen the relationship and we are closer. But, there's certain heartbreaks or betrayals that an individual, not that they can't get over, but it's in their greatest good to leave that relationship because they want more.
Mm-hmm.
But they still have to do the internal work for the next relationship. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jennifer, this is Raya again. If there is one thing you want the audience to remember from our conversation today, what would it be?
That they're whole and complete and act from that wholeness and completeness. I think so often we express ourselves, we take action on our brokenness. No one's broken, by the way, and wounds. And one of the questions that I tell clients is, you know, if you knew you were whole and complete, loved and supported, what would you say? What would you do? What would you express in every situation? And when you ask that question, you're definitely going to make a different decision rather than going, oh, I feel not enough. Let's make a decision from that.
Okay. Makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing the information. I definitely know it's going to take me some work. So I guess me connecting, I'm just ADHD, so it takes me a while to connect with myself and my higher being. But I definitely know the technique.
Thank you so much. You're a little blurry in your voice there
Okay.
because of the connection. But thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed, you know, listening to you guys talk and getting to know one of you with your voices and your energy. And I'm just thrilled to be part of the show. And, you know, if people have any more questions, they can always email me through the site at soullanguage.us, and I'll be happy to answer.
Yes. Can you repeat your website again?
Sure. It's soul, S-O-U-L, language.us.
Gotcha. Well, Jennifer, again, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we hope you have a good evening.
You too. Have a great evening, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Jennifer.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Good information.
Oh, that was good. That was very
I
good.
have trouble. She probably reinforces like meditation. Do you guys meditate?
I'm starting to. I have the meditation app on my phone.
Oh, you do?
I'm trying to.
But what would the app help you do?
It times it for you, and wait. It starts with a simple text. Wait.
Okay.
Step 1 is timing yourself.
Okay.
And I'm at the 5-minute mark.
Oh, okay.
No, but I'll just aside. I'm trying to wake up with attention. I'm trying to have more purpose in my day instead of being all whimsical.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to wake up with a schedule, not scheduling the whole day, but
Yeah.
at least say when I wake up, I'm going to spend quality time
Yeah.
with God. I'm going to meditate on Him and what I want for, you know, what this day to look like. So I'm trying to be more intentional with my day.
So I remember I had downloaded the app. So with yours, you said you're up to 5 minutes. Is that like when you
Inside
started
timer.
out, you have the time, how long you can clear your mind, and then when something crosses your mind, you have to start over in time again?
Oh, I'm not there yet. So I'm at the point of just sitting for 5 minutes straight
Okay.
and just focusing on one thing.
Okay.
I'm not restarting the timer.
Okay.
I'm more new to anything, and
Okay.
this is not probably perfect, but I'm trying to be, you know, this whole mindfulness
Yeah,
thing that's
yeah.
going on. But I know I can be a little all over the place.
Yeah.
And my mind goes a million because I'm trying to get
races.
through it. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to slow myself down and just enjoy the moment. Because I'm always looking towards the future. What's going to happen next? Prepare myself for the heartbreak. Prepare myself for what's
Oh,
next.
yeah.
So I create my own ending because I'm so worked up by anxiety.
Yeah.
And the ending might not have been what I thought it was going to be, but I'm getting it my own way because of my thoughts. So I'm just trying to slow myself down, enjoy the little things in life, and whatever happens, just let it happen from there. I'm letting go control.
Okay, so my therapist told me that I should try to start doing some meditation and listen to meditation music, because my daughter does it. Sierra, when I go in her room in the morning, say goodbye to her, she has this beautiful music going. And so I take, and of course I'm being transparent again, I take a Xanax every night so I can sleep. So, because my mind needs to be quiet. I need to shut it down. Because if I don't, I won't get any sleep because my mind is racing. So she said, instead of doing that, I want you to start trying to meditate. So I told her that I would, but I'm going to be like perfectly honest right now. I have not done it thus far. But it has come to me several times. People have been asking me, and it's funny that you brought it up again because I thought about it the other day. But I'm just afraid that because my mind will never be quiet, it's just never quiet. And I can't get any sleep because it's running like a locomotive. So I'm going to try it, and I'm going to try to listen to this music that my daughter listens to because it sounds very soothing. But I'm just afraid to do it because I don't think that it will relax me enough to go to sleep. I used to do it a long time ago, but I have too much anxiety. And that's why I can't sleep.
Have you tried yoga?
Girl, let me tell you, I'm a great dancer. I love to dance, but that whole yoga thing, he laughing at me. I'm not balanced enough I don't have that much balance, believe it or not, as much as I love to dance, to do yoga.
But it's not about being let me just say that because no, but just hear me out. I know you got 5 stories to already tell me. But wait, it's not about being right or wrong per se with yoga. I mean, I think it's just putting the attention to trying to do it, because I don't know half those moves, don't know what I'm trying to really doing, but there's something about yoga that I had the best sleep I've ever had after doing yoga. I was done. I woke up that morning and said, whew, I don't know if I got beat, robbed, or bugged, but I mean, she stretched me out. I feel like I really released a lot, and I slept so good. Now, I'm not a big yoga fan. I'm more of a mixed fit dance kind of thing. Me. But that yoga, it really made me like, huh.
We're going to try it.
Yeah, we're going to try it.
But
now,
you have to be like,
group on
it. Let her stretch you. She's misted me with some kind of, I was like, wait, lady, you don't know if I'm going to learn this. Like, I was more like,
see what I mean?
But once you get the craziness out your mind, it just try to enjoy it. This quietness is what you need.
Yeah, it's the quietness. So I am going to.
Is it quiet in the room?
Yes, because they have the lights are down and the lights are down. Because I have tried it several times.
Well, we're not gonna be able to do it together.
Why?
We're gonna be talking.
Because we're gonna be laughing.
But I'm gonna try the problem. You got to be centered. You got to try it out. Like,
see, that's what you got to find your center.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to. They like, fine, relax. So. Close your eyes. So I'm trying to close my eyes, but I'm looking at everybody else to make sure I got my because I'm all about movement, because I always like my movements to be perfect. So Marquita at Paula Fusion they have this new kickboxing class on Friday nights. So I said to myself, I was going to ask you if you wanted to go. I said, I'm going to start doing this kickboxing class because to get out a lot of tension. So I think that I'm going to start doing that. But I will try. I mean, I'm open to try the yoga again, but they were like this and they had the thing like that, and she was like this, and she was just doing it so perfect. I was stumbling all over the place and laughing at myself, disrupted the class because I was getting frustrated.
You ever did it, Kevon?
Oh no, I never tried it, but
Nikki.
I've heard some good stories.
Yeah.
You did?
Did you like it, Nick?
I loved it. They run you. They make you get a workout in before you actually do the class.
Oh, really?
It's a lot of work, but it's good.
So let's try it.
Okay. All right.
But y'all just don't sit next to each other. You got to give each other.
That's
space.
impossible.
We're gonna end up.
You won't have time to really even.
Oh, really?
Because they're like drill sergeants.
Okay. We'll try it.
You gonna try it?
Yeah, because I already want to talk to you about ballroom dancing.
Oh, I definitely want to do that.
Exercise.
Yes,
Yeah.
I definitely, because I love to dance. I love
I'm
tap
doing it
dancing.
for the weight.
Well, that's
Lose the
fine.
weight, yeah.
I love tap dancing. I've always wanted to do ballroom dancing.
Okay.
Because you know that I'm an amazing dancer.
Yeah. All right then.
Oh,
so, we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with a little bit more hot topics right before our next guest. We'll be right back.
Let's face it, with Will Strayhorn and friends. We'll be right back.
Have you seen Dr. Roberts about that sore in your mouth?
Nah, I'm sure it'll go away.
But it's been weeks. It could be oral cancer.
Mouth cancer?
Yeah, I read that it's more common in African American men than in any other group.
All right. I'll make an appointment.
Do you have a tough guy in your house? Make sure he sees a doctor or dentist if he has a sore in his mouth that lasts more than 2 weeks. If it is oral cancer, it can be treated more successfully if it's caught early. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services National Institutes of Health.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within. Over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
You're now listening to Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and friends. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. I'm still at the table with my girls Paula and Raya.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, you owe me a Coke. Twinning.
Okay, but so before our next guest calls, well, our final guest for the evening calls in, I have a question for you, and I know it's going to cause a big debate. It's going to be that how women see things and how men see things. Probably knowing you, Paula.
Me.
I want to ask the question. So, can friends have sex and keep it on that friendship level? Will that change everything? I know you're gonna get into the whole women are emotional creatures and.
Well.
What?
I just had this conversation with my girlfriend Sarah and Maria, and I was telling them that I feel as though today women are a lot different than they were many years ago when it comes to sex, because I want women, especially I'm not going to just say professional women, women are not as emotionally attached like they used to be. Like a long time ago, you'd be like, you have sex with dude, that's my boo, he's moving in, we just got the whole house, the whole everything, we got a relationship, you only have sex with him one time. Today, you know, a woman can go ahead and, you know, have sex with a dude, deuces, I'll see you later. You do what you do, I'm going to do what I do, and we'll meet in the middle because I have my career and everything. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be calling you, hounding you, be like, oh, well, where you at? I haven't heard from you. It's not like that anymore. You know what I mean? Because women don't have to chase men like they used to because they have so much confidence in themselves. Go ahead. You know what I mean? And there's somebody else out there that I can kick it with. But if I just want to do you, I just want to do you. And, you know, sometimes it's the dude. Right. It's the dudes that's getting attached because they can't understand how women are thinking today. Are you kidding me? We just had sex and you haven't even called me. Yeah. No, dude, I don't need to call you. You see what I'm saying? I just wanted to have that experience and just keep it moving. But a lot of women that I talk to are like that today. It's just, that's the way it is. It's a new thing.
What you say, Raya? You got that face going. What's going on?
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's a new thing. I think this professional women have been like this for a while. I think that the idea of what sometimes we see as a relationship has changed over time. Women are giving more into their career. Women know more what they want. Men are not stepping up into the game. So we have flipped the game and made it work for ourselves.
That's true.
Right. Women are not as eager, what I'm finding too, to be attached. I went to this women's retreat and you know, they were talking about abuse, and these women went through some, I want to talk about that as well, went through some horrific things. You know, I don't even know how they're still standing. But one of the things that I heard the women say, I never heard them say, you know, I need to be with a man. I need the man in my life. All they were talking about was their girlfriends and how it was their friends that helped them through everything, and it was their friends that were their lifeline. They never mentioned about needing to hook up with a dude.
I do. Yeah.
You know, and it's just funny how I'm listening to more and more women, and they're saying they like to go and have fun. You know, they like to date occasionally. You know what I mean? Do the slap and tickle thing. You know, and then hang out with their friends.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. Well, you know what? Our guest of honor is on the line. He is called to ignite passion in the hearts and minds of individuals. Daryl Fletcher's presence is dynamic, and his energy is contagious. Daryl Fletcher seeks to help bring balance and purpose to the lives of his clients and audience. Daryl addresses topics of understanding purpose, entrepreneurship, and how to have healthy relationships. So please help me welcome to the show Mr. Daryl Fletcher. How are you, sir?
Hey, Daryl.
Hey.
Hey, good evening, good evening. How's everybody doing tonight?
We are doing wonderful. How are you doing?
Oh, it's a beautiful day in my neck of the woods. I hope y'all ready. Buckle up and seats because it's about to get excited.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. So how did you get started in this whole game of relationship coaching? How did you get started with it?
I was a youth pastor for several years, and as a youth pastor, I began to always working with families and relationships, and not only children, you know, the different dynamics between you know, parents and teachers, or not parents, teachers, parents and kids, and then sometimes I would just end up counseling the parents and their issue. And then I went through a divorce in 2010, and in that divorce, I had to go through my own healing process, and a part of my healing journey was journaling, and from journaling, that's how my book began to come about, the Discussing the Beautiful, Good, Bad, and Ugly of Couples. And so so within that, I was always helping people, and so the whole life coach thing was presented to me like, man, you need to tell your story and help people heal from some of the things that you've gone through. So my mess became my message, and my pain became my platform. So it just gave me an opportunity to help people, you know, better themselves and redeem themselves from whatever they were going through as well.
Awesome.
You know, Will and I, every time we see each other on the show and on the every time we see each other, we talk about relationships. Yes. And we were both single, trying to figure out how this love things go.
She's no longer single. Go ahead.
That is, I'm no longer single. But what do you see as some of the major issues in relationships?
The relationship issues fall into three categories: immaturity, selfishness, and unforgiveness. I don't care what a couple is dealing with. I don't care what a couple is facing. It stems from one of those three areas. If it's a money issue, we're talking about selfishness or immaturity. If it's a case of infidelity, we're talking about selfishness and immaturity. I don't care if it's an inability to communicate. We're talking about immaturity. So at the end of the day, when we look at what people are going through in their relationships, many times it comes from a place of selfishness. It comes from a place of immaturity, and it comes from a place of unforgiveness. Because if you have a couple that has been together for a while and they're experiencing some challenges or going through some things, once somebody's not being forgiving of what they've gone through, or it could be a position of where somebody is doing something that they know the other partner doesn't like. So now they're just being selfish. And then many times, even from a standpoint of immaturity, we get into the pattern of dating and courting and relationships from our teenage years and never break those patterns in order to get us into a place of mature relationships.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
Sometimes we don't have good examples too, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I have a question.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to piggyback on what you just said. I don't think that if you're having an issue in your marriage and you're bringing up an issue that happened in the past, I don't think that you're bringing up the issue to make that person remember you did this to me. I'm not saying that I didn't forgive you, but I want to make sure that you remember what you have done, because a sin is a sin no matter what. And the thing of it is, my mom always told me, you have to bring some things back to people's remembrance, because sometimes they forget and try to hold you to a higher standard than they hold themselves. So I don't think that it's not that to say that, just because I'm bringing it up, I didn't forgive you. Yes, I forgave you, but let me make you remember what you did to me and put me in this particular predicament, or make me feel the way that I felt.
I understand. I understand you completely, but let me ask you this: what does bringing it to their remembrance, or let's say there's something that they did, and you brought up the word sin. So I don't know. I think we kind of shifted a little bit, because I didn't necessarily bring up something of sin. Mm-hmm. But at the end rate, my question is, why or what purpose does it serve to keep reminding them? If they're making those efforts to make those changes, if they're making those efforts to keep it moving, what purpose does it serve to to keep reminding them?
Well, because so if you're being accusatory, you're accusing someone of something or trying to bring up something that they have done, but it's like you have amnesia, like you never did anything, or you never brought any hurt in the relationship, and everybody's just pointing the finger. You're just pointing the finger at that one person all the time. Sometimes you have to bring that up because they have to remember, because you forget when you're
like you did something too.
Right, exactly.
Well, I think that will sometimes stem from a standpoint of unresolved issues. Many times we bring stuff up because we have moved on, but we haven't healed from it. And just because time has passed, and just because we have moved on, many times people don't necessarily heal.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I teach and display with a lot of my clients is only wounds that are unhealed will cause pain. And if you're having to keep it, bring it back up, then that wound may not actually be healed. You may have told me physically or verbally that, we good, but at the end of the day, you may have not. And so you really may have not forgiven yourself or forgiven that person to actually begin to move on in order to say, hey, I'm healed from this. There's no reason for us to bring it up. Now, I totally understand what you're saying, but I was coming from a different perspective from the standpoint of forgiveness.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, because, you have some people in a relationship that think that they've done nothing wrong, and like they don't remember what they've done, you know what I mean? And they want to hold you to a higher standard than they hold themselves. So that's why I'm saying sometimes, even I got this from my mother as well. Sometimes you have to remind them because they forget, and people do try to hold you to a higher standard than they hold themselves when you have made a mistake or done something, because they forget about what they have done and the pain that they have inflicted on you. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
But
at the same time,
like you're stuck in neutral.
Sometimes if you keep reliving something, and you bring it's kind of like digging up a dead body, you know. And even we nobody's perfect.
No.
And you know, to keep reminding somebody saying, "Hey, you did stuff too. Hey, you did stuff too." That I find that counterproductive in a relationship, because if that's something that you keep have to bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up, then that's like being an anchor on the relationship from us moving on. Yes, they have done something, and yes, they may try to hold you to a higher standard than what you have done or what they have done. But at the end of the day, it's important that we just address the issue, resolve the issue, and then grow from that issue.
Okay.
All right. That was good. That was
Yeah.
a good message.
Yes.
So what's your best relationship advice? That was good right there. But what would be your best relationship advice?
Address your inner conflict. Address your inner conflict. That would be my best relationship advice to anyone. Many times we get into a position of projection. And what that projection basically looks like is it kind of goes back to what, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. What was your name?
To Paula?
Paula.
Paula, yes. Kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. Many times we have an inward conflict that we project in a relationship. So if you're not willing to address your childhood issues, your issues from different relationships, and really put those on the table, I have something that I say to a lot of my clients. You will never conquer what you're not willing to confront. And so many times we have situations where we are in a relationship and those things begin to come up in those relationships from past relationships. So you start treating Fred, but the way, Johnny, because of the way Johnny treated you. And so because you never really resolved the issues with Johnny, now you're treating Fred a certain way because you really never resolved those issues. So my best bit of relationship advice is really be ready to do the inner work on yourself while you're single or while you're not in a relationship to prepare you for a relationship. I have currently going on right now a 30-day challenge with single ladies, 30 questions that you need to ask yourself if you think you're ready for love. Because many times we think we're ready for love, but we're not ready for love. We're just tired of being alone. So doing that inner healing, doing that inside work is so important, because what that looks like is we start having conversations and really just start blaming that person when they didn't really know what was going on. They don't even know what they did wrong, because what it is it's just a deeper wound from somebody else that hurt them before.
So where can I find those 30 questions?
You can find those 30 questions if you text 555-888 ready. If you text the word ready for love, ready FOR love, all one word, no spaces, to the number 555-888, that will enter you into the 30-day challenge, and it will give you the list of all the different questions. The key strategic thing of it is many people try to just go through those rush through those 30 questions and get it over with. It's set up and designed to do it day by day, because it's a moment of reflection. There is once again, some inner healing that has to take place within you. So it may not be resolved in 5 days. If you try to rush through all those questions and just get it over with and say, okay, yeah, I'm ready for love. No, that's the problem that we have a lot of times. We're trying to rush the process. You can't rush the process, because if you rush the process, if you know anything about cooking, if you whip it and it's supposed to be stirred, then that's gonna mess up the process. If you crunch it and it's supposed to be minced, then that's gonna mess up the process. So at the end of the day, as we're preparing for relationships in our single moments, as we're preparing for relationships, when we're young, we don't want to rush the process. So at the end of the day, that's one of the reasons why even God talks about us, being in union with one another. And the Bible says that Adam and Eve were naked and unashamed in front of each other, because it was such a pure moment. And so now we want to begin to perpetuate that pure moment. But because of the fall, because of sin, we have all the stuff, and we have parents, we have other relationships that we tainted ourselves with. So we got all this junk that we're dealing with, and we're not willing to address that junk and actually process that junk. Then what actually ends up happening is we bring in more junk into our relationship and into our lives.
Daryl, we have viewers who want you to repeat the number so they can get those 30 questions.
Okay. Text the number 555-888, keyword ready for love, all one word, no space.
Okay. Awesome.
And you'll get a link, click that link, register, and then day by day, you'll get a new video and a new question every day from me that you can begin the process.
Okay.
So this is Raya again. What's the best way to...
Ray, hey, Ray.
It's Raya. It's okay. Hey.
Oh, Raya. I'm sorry, Raya.
Who needs a relationship coach?
Who needs a relationship coach? I would say that the typical answer would be everybody needs a relationship coach. But that I will have to change that and say anyone that is serious about dating and serious about having a committed relationship. Because let's think about it. Everything in our lives has some form of instruction. Before you get your license, you get a book of instructions and tells you the ins and outs, what to do, how to do, when to make the left turn, when to put on your signal light, all these different things. And it comes with some form of instruction. If you think about going through school, you have someone that is there to help you along the way. They call a teacher, they call mentors, they call counselors, principals, and even coaches. When you think about your job, there's a human resources department. There's even a trainer there. There's a supervisor that's there to help you to go through the process. And so as we think about relationships, who do we have that helps us in relationships? Who do we have, the go-to person that says, hey, this is what I'm experiencing emotional. Am I wrong for feeling this, or what do I need to do? And many times people would say, well, our parents. But here's the challenge with some of our parents. Many of our parents have gone through relationship roller coasters, ups and downs, ins and outs, and they haven't healed.
Exactly.
And because they haven't healed, their filter is a little bit different, or their filter may be a little bit biased. So at the end of the day, it's important that people who want to have a healthy, thriving relationship, people who may be in a relationship and they may be going through some ins and outs, they may not be talking to one another, they may be experiencing a time of silent treatment, and they really want to know, how can I get through this particular silent treatment? Why is my wife not talking to me? Why does my boyfriend does this when I want him to do this? Why does he not pay attention to me? Why? All these different things. So you have all these different questions going on in your head. And so what a relationship coach helps you do is we help individuals unpack the stuff that they have gone through and the stuff that they are experiencing, whether it be from childhood or whether it be from previous relationships. I help people improve the quality of their relationship. If you're single, then guess what? This is the best time to get a relationship coach. Why? Because you don't find love, you attract it. And so if you're going out looking for love, then you're going about it the wrong way. You should be attracting love, because watch this. People who are in healthy places in their lives, they are always attracting beautiful things. They are always attracting positive things in their life. But sometimes we have that inner conflict. We have an inward imbalance. I just did a singles conference in Miami last month, and it was a group of single ladies, and I asked them this question. I asked them to do an exercise. Write a list of things that you want in a man, everything that you want in a man. So they wrote this list, about 10 things. And then so some of the women began to regurgitate and repeat the list. And they were great things and positive things. And so I asked them the question. I said, did you ever positively affirm these things that you want in a man? And so they were kind of confused when I used the term positively affirm. They were like, well, what do you mean? Have you ever said that these are the things that I want in a man, positively? And most of the women in the audience said no. And so, but I said, have you ever negatively affirmed what you wanted in a man? And they said, well, I don't understand that either. And so my response was, have you ever made this statement? Why can't I find a guy that's loyal? Why can't I find a guy that's financially stable? Why can't I find a guy that's faithful? Why can't I find a guy that's integrous? See, that's a negative affirmation or negative assimilation of what you positively desire. You're saying, why can't I find, rather than saying, I'm positively affirming, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want into a man. So as a relationship coach, I shed light and give people insight on how to do those things in their relationship and in their lives to attract the love they deserve and the love they desire.
Okay, I have a two-part question. I'm going to ask you this. Is love achievable in today's society? Is that what you told me?
Is love
Sorry.
achievable?
I read the wrong question. I'm sorry. Let me get to the right question. What's the best way to improve?
Okay.
What is the best way to improve the quality of your relationship?
What is the best way to improve the quality of your relationship? Well, I would have to revert back to the way I answered my best relationship advice. Doing the inner work and the inner healing. The best way to improve the quality of your relationship is, one, being honest with yourself. If you're not willing to be honest with yourself about your junk, about your baggage, about who you are really at the core, not who you want people to believe you to be, but who you are at the core. If your junk stink, call it out. My junk stink and I need to work on it. It's just that simple. Because when you're at that moment of honesty, we can't hide anymore. Jay-Z just did he just released an album called 444. And he had these little videos that he was talking about, and he was talking about his moment of honesty, his moment of truth. See, when he got to the point where he couldn't lie to not only himself anymore, but lie to the people around him, that's when change took place in his life. And when everything came to head at 4:44 in the morning, I couldn't hide anymore. I couldn't tell any more lies. I had to be truthful with myself. And see, here's the thing. It was counterintuitive for me to be truthful with myself, because I've been taught all this time that men are supposed to do like this, and women are supposed to be like this, and men are supposed to be like this, and women are supposed to be like that. But all the while, that was a farce. All the while, that was an elusive reality that I was trying to live up to something that really wasn't even meant to be lived up to. So when I came to my moment of truth at 4:44 in the morning, when I came to my moment of being honest, where I couldn't hide it anymore, I couldn't tell any more lies, I couldn't lie to myself, and I couldn't lie to the people who were around me, that was the point that my relationship changed. And so if we as people, as individuals, get to the point where we are honest about ourselves, and so that's part of the 30-day challenge that I talk about. One of the questions in that 30-day challenge is, I ask, do you hold grudges? Because if you hold grudges, then technically you're not ready for a relationship, because there are roller coasters of a relationship, ups and downs, in and out. They're going to do stuff that you don't like. They're going to do stuff that you don't too much care for. They're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you are willing to let go and move on and heal from it, then you have an opportunity to experience greatness in that particular relationship.
Wow. Daryl, you have given us a wonderful mini seminar workshop. I'm a little discouraged. All your messages seem to be geared towards the women, though. I don't understand why the brothers don't get no love from you. Because we need help too.
But that was my question. I was going to ask him, why don't men like going to therapy or seeing a life coach?
That's negative.
But that is not negative. They don't.
But why is it always the women have to
and
do
I would
work
have to agree with her.
Yes, because there's more women that go to therapy than.
But no, it's always the women have to be this. The women needs to do this. Work on past baggage, and she has to have herself together.
No, it's men too.
But they focus more on the women than men. Thank you. But they focus more. I think sometimes they focus more on women you should do this to attract the right person. You got to make sure you're whole, you're complete. And I think sometimes men are left out in regards to the work they have to do in order to be ready for a relationship.
Because, that is true, because the men always think they have to, because they'll be like, well, you're crazy. You're the one that have the problem. You need to fix this. You need to fix that. You need to do this, thus,
Are we generalizing again?
I don't know, but I'm just still trying to figure out why men do not like to go to therapy. And why they just think that it's having another person telling them what it is that they need to fix about themselves, that they can't, a man can't handle that.
Can I answer that question?
Yes, darling. I'm sorry.
Okay. It is. I would agree with you. Because typically it is not men that want to go to counseling. It is not men that actively pursue. I will have to kind of shift a little bit from the standpoint, it's always women. They're always telling me and typically that is.
I'm not sure what's wrong with the sound.
Yeah. Are you going through a tunnel?
Yeah.
It must be. It's a bad connection.
It's on him.
We have a bad connection.
It's on him.
Yeah.
Got a bad connection.
Yeah. Are you mobile? Are you driving or something?
No, I'm sitting on the. Can you hear me better now?
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay, it's clearing up now. A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a marketing tactic that is used by many different people within my profession and things of that nature, because they want to play on the emotional side of them. But I will say this: I do find it more often that men don't want to go to counseling or go to a coach or that thing, but men respond to relationship coach or coaching better than they do counseling. Mm-hmm. And here's one of the reasons why. Men are typically, when we are reared, what happens is if we fall down and hurt ourselves, one of the first things that they will tell a young man to do is get up, brush yourself off, don't cry. Get yourself up, don't cry. You better not cry. So we have been conditioning our young men and men all along to not get in touch with their feelings or their emotions. If I'm hurt, I can't show it. Mm-hmm. If I'm bothered, I can't tell anybody. If I don't know, I don't ask for directions. I don't stop for directions. So it has been ingrained in us from a little person to not resort to help if we need help. So that's one of the reasons behind it. But also, it's the whole thing of testosterone within itself. What testosterone does for men, it gives men a certain assertiveness. And with that certain assertiveness, what that does is it causes us to think that not only don't we don't need help, but I know everything already.
Yes, that is true. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's where that comes from. And when we get honest with ourselves, once again, whether it be male or female, we need to understand that everyone needs a little bit of help sometimes, especially when you're dealing with emotional challenges or emotional baggage. And the more honest you are with yourself, the better results you have an opportunity to experience. If you were crushed as a little boy, or if you experienced some challenges as a little child and went through some things, address it, talk about it, get in touch with the emotional side of it so that you can actually deal with it. Because if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Daryl, man, can you please share your contact information for people who want to get in contact with you, work with you, seek your services? How can they get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me through our website, Love Logistics Circle. Love Logistics with an S, circle.com. On social media, it's Love Logistics across all platforms. On Twitter, it's _Love Logistics. Instagram, Love Logistics. Facebook, Love Logistics Circle. And that is a unique platform where we help individuals, couples, and singles to improve the quality of their relationships through tools, resources, and just all the different things that they can do in order to help themselves heal from the inside out and begin to attract the love that they deserve and the love that they desire.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really enjoyed the information.
Thank you.
Got a wealth of information.
Thank you.
It was good.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you. My
really
pleasure.
good.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a good evening. All right.
All right. That was good.
Did he fix y'all?
Did he fix you?
I don't
it's
know.
the men.
I just know I
know
I just have more issues. So
You'll get there. But I don't think
I might have to
anybody's
skip
perfect.
this cuffing season.
But I don't think anybody's perfect going into a relationship. I think you find that person that's willing to support you in your mess.
Mm-hmm.
So I think every outside looking, I can say, oh my God, I can't believe that person found someone. But there's somebody out there for everybody. So you don't have to be perfect. Just be you. And somebody's going to accept you
So
for
I
you.
just keep experimenting until I find the person.
I don't think that's how that works.
Well,
I think you missed some key points. I don't think that's how that works.
But you do. I am in agreement. You do have to find somebody that will accept you from you, that gets you, that will accept you for your faults.
And willing to work with you.
Because you know what I'm finding about people?
What?
Is that when people do stuff, they want you to forgive them. You know what I mean? But when it's vice versa, they will forget that you forgave them and don't know how to forgive you. But everybody wants forgiveness, but they don't know how. Some people don't know how to forgive.
That's true.
I'm finding
True
that.
Statement. True statement. Okay, so I have a question for you again. Another question.
Let's do this.
Is your significant other entitled to your social media passwords in a committed relationship? Do you think?
I don't want anybody's passwords.
You don't want them?
No, I don't know.
Why?
Okay, so
This is about to get good.
So, I have been in. I'm be honest, like you know how people check your phone and
Mm-hmm.
your spouse check your phone, track you, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It'll drive you crazy. You understand what I'm saying? It will drive you absolutely positively crazy. So whatever you do, you're doing. Whoever you're talking to. I don't want to have your passwords. I don't want to go on your phone and see what it is that you're doing, because at the bottom line to the issue, you're gonna do what you want to do, regardless. You're gonna hide it the way you want to hide it, regardless. I may never find it. So I don't. Why would I need your password? What am I looking for? What is the issue of having your password?
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
That was very interesting.
Very interesting. Very creative.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you like it?
I did. I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah, he said he liked it.
Okay. What about you?
Well, I'm on that cuff of Generation X and millennials.
Okay.
Oh, you Generation X?
Yeah, I'm at
You in the middle?
I'm at the end of Generation X where the millennials start. So I'm in that middle piece.
Oh, okay.
So with that being said, I do want passwords, but let me just say this: I just want access, not that I'm going to use it. I think that if we're gotten to the point in our relationship that we're saying that we're going towards marriage, and I'm not just saying, we're just together, but if we're leaning towards marriage and we're sharing about banking accounts, I don't want your bank account password, but if we're open about our finances and everything else, what is social media? If I have access, or if we have a joint account together, we are buying houses together, we're buying cars, we're building something together, why can I not have your social media account? I think that's a blip, a small blip in so much more that we're building together. So if I see you as my lifelong partner, give me everything.
But okay, so what happened to the Privacy Act? So just because you're married, you're not subject to the Privacy Act?
Social media is not privacy. So you can
you can put it on private.
But my whole thing is you can share your information to the world, but you can't share it with me. I have to be your friend to see this? Or are we my whole
I'm gonna accept you as a friend on my Facebook, but I don't need you to have why would I have to have my password?
Okay, let's say somebody passes away. You can have no access to anything. If you want to post something or whatever situation may be, you can't do that because you don't have the person's social media. You can't go to Verizon and say, this person, my husband has died, can I get in their phone? They don't give you that information. Facebook is not going to give you any information either. So it's not that I'm going to check it, but it's just one of the things that let me have it.
So do you think not providing your social media passwords means that you're hiding something?
No, absolutely not. Okay, because I work in insurance. Okay, so if we were married and you call and you're on my plan, okay, and you called, I called and I said, well, I want to find out on data service, Will went to see Dr. Peanut Butter and Jelly, and I want to know what he went to see Dr. Peanut Butter and Jelly for. I'm going to tell you as a customer service rep that even though Will is on your plan, Mrs. Beckett, I'm not able to give you that information because of the Privacy and Confidentiality Act. And then we get, well, he's on my plan and I pay for the insurance. I understand that. He's on your plan. You pay for the insurance, but I'm still not able to give you that information unless you fill out a designated agent form. And there's some people that will not fill out a designated agent form because they don't want their wife calling.
But what does that have to do with
social media?
It's still, but because it's still private. It's still your right to give somebody information to your things. If you don't want them to have it, that doesn't mean I'm hiding anything. It's just that I don't want you to have it.
But
just like I don't want you to have my cookie.
But I'm just saying I can have everything. This is the thing that kills me about it. Sometimes I don't. We're going to talk about sex and let me know if I'm getting
no.
Just no.
No, we're not talking about sex.
I'm about to bring up something about sex.
No. I want to bring up. Always wants to talk about sex.
No, well, you know, I know. But I want to bring up a scenario. So just look at me if I'm going too far to
okay,
the left
I got you.
for PR services. That's like what people say. I'm going to have sex with somebody, but I'm not going to engage in this particular act. Well, so let's say some people will say, well, you know, I will do oral sex, but you know, I'm not, you know, I'm a virgin. I'm going to save myself to marriage. So like, you're willing to do certain things with somebody, but when it comes to some of the smaller things that really matter, then you're not willing to do it. For example,
but that's what happened to your right though?
You have
your
rights. But if you're saying till death do us part, I have pushed out your children. You have seen my insides and outs. I have been sick. You have taken care of me. You have access to my financial information. You have access to my car, my family, my everything. Yeah. What is social media?
Unless you just need this one area where you can be a mess. Is that what you say? Where you can be a mess,
but
you ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
But why? But what I'm saying to it, why does it have to be so much emphasis on that? Like, people go crazy because I need this password.
I really think, like you said, not that you would use it. I really think if it was even open, because for a while in my relationship, it was unlocked.
Right.
And it wasn't an issue. It's not like they went in, but it's like when everything's locked. You know, you put the phone down, 2 seconds later, you got to lock everything up again, where you start to think, well, what are they hiding?
So,
and I just think to erase any type of suspicion, why not say, well, you know, you can have this? Because we never know what may come up.
So what if I say that and I'm not doing anything. I'm innocent as innocent can be. But I'll be like, no, I just don't want you to have my password. So are you going to start accusing me and telling your own, like I learned in our management class, telling your own story. And once you tell your own story, then you're saying you've made up this story like, okay, she doesn't want to give me a password. Why doesn't she want to? So that means to tell me that my wife is having an affair because she doesn't. Now you have told yourself this horrific story. Now you believe it.
But
now
my question is, why not?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I don't want you to have it. Why can't that be good enough?
What the hell?
That's what I'm saying.
That's not good enough.
What do you say?
I understand both perspectives. I do.
Kevon, oh my God.
It's really like a dilemma somewhat of like this little social media thing where you should have the passwords. Do you really need it? It's kind of like an insecurity thing, I feel like, where some people, maybe they might need it, maybe they don't. I think it just depends on the person.
I think the bottom line is trust.
What am I going to do with this whole social? Okay, I get your account information. If I want to post something on your line, if I'm your friend, I can post whatever I want to. If I'm your friend, I can see whatever I want to see anyways. Your password just says, I have access to do something, to see something.
But why do you have to do something on my damn
but
page?
Why
can't you do something on your page? Why do you have to go? But that's what you're saying.
Want to see if you're creeping. They want to see if you're creeping because you could have something.
So
like,
what? Okay, so that's the bottom line to the issue. So okay,
I
you're saying
think
that it's
trust
not.
is the underlying factor.
So if I tell you no, and you're saying that it's not that, you're saying I trust you, but I said okay, so you should be good when I tell you. No, you can't have it because now you're not. Now you're telling your own story.
I'm not telling a story. I just
so
asked
why
you
can't
for
you
a password.
And I'm telling you no.
Okay, and that's fine. Duly noted. But that does not mean I create a story. I just said, you said no. Okay, point taken.
Now you're going to retaliate against me.
No, I'm not.
So you're going to be good with it.
But no, it is.
See what I'm going, right?
I know what you're saying.
But I'm saying creating a story means you're cheating, you're doing X, Y, Z.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm not creating a story. I just made a mental note. There are things that happen day to day. Like, oh, he changed his routine up. There are some things you just might need to pay attention to. What is for me, social media is not a big deal. But for this millennial generation, social media is life or death for them. Mm-hmm. So you have access to my password. You know more about me by hanging out with me than you do on my social media account. So you have my password. It's just neither here nor there.
So you have my password, so you can go into, what do y'all call that thing? Snapchat, Snap.
Yeah,
what is it
Snapchat.
called? I don't know what you call it. But
I think if there was if you weren't concerned with something being or them finding something, it wouldn't be an issue. I think that I think a person who's so concerned about having their privacy is doing something.
It's social media. I'm not. If you could give me
and
a bank account,
but I
used to think like that. But
I don't. And everything else, but you won't
like
give.
But I can take money out your account, but I can't get your social media. Like, that is something's very odd here.
Okay, so now what? I see me.
Uh-huh.
If it's gonna be like that, I'm gonna shut
it all.
There it is.
I'm shutting it all down. You know what I mean? I'm shutting it all down.
Yeah.
I can drive your cars, eat your food.
Yeah. Password.
Right. But you ain't going over there.
Now you're saying that you don't. So the bottom line to the issue, right? The bottom line to the issue is that you're checking up on your man and you don't trust him.
I'm not checking. It's not insecurity. Right.
So why can't you say no if he says
whatever
no?
you want to say? Duly noted.
Right, and it's gonna but it's gonna bring a red flag.
Be an issue.
It's gonna be a red flag.
It's gonna be noted.
What she means a red flag?
Noted.
Red flag.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you give the information to your significant other or spouse voluntarily, or you wait until they ask for it?
Ask. I would say ask.
Yeah, I would say ask.
I've never asked. I mean, this is very. I've never asked anybody for their password, so I don't know what the conversation.
If somebody offered me the passwords, my mom's gonna say, "Well, you got another account somewhere." I saw that in a movie.
But what movie was that?
That was Why Did I Get Married To?
Oh, okay.
And then the phone started ringing.
Angela
and the guy. Yeah.
Well, she made him do that though because she was taunting him, but he wasn't ever doing anything. He wasn't doing anything. She was just insecure.
What happens when there's hiccups? There are hiccups in your relationship, and this person has all your information. You've heard the horror stories of people having problems in their marriage or their relationships, and they have all your information. Then they go out there and put information online about you. That just happened to someone.
Right, and that happened. Oh, let me explain. People do some crazy things when they're upset with you.
Right.
You know, and people tell when they're mad, and people will try to run you into the ground and make you out to be the Till of the Hun when they're mad. And, people will come after you with a vengeance because they're angry with you.
Right.
And, you have to think to yourself, this is a person that once, so they say, loved me. Mm-hmm. Then you're turning around and you're just coming for me to hurt me with a vengeance. You have to question yourself and say, did you ever love me? Because the bottom line for me, the relationship, if we're not going to be together, let's separate, let's divorce, and you do you and do me. Don't bring any harm to me. Don't try to hurt me because we're already hurt already. But to go after somebody with a vengeance is wrong. It's just totally, to me, it's just wrong. And I'm agreeing with what Nikki is saying.
All right, then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We were going to take a commercial break. We're not going to take one because we're running out of time. Yeah. Now, I definitely wanted to get in my intimate expression so I can dig deep into your souls. I can do my Ian Van Zant routine. I wanted to ask you two ladies.
Sure.
My first question, I want to ask you too. So what do you think, what do you think has stayed the same about you throughout your life? And then what do you think has changed?
My rebellious spirit has been the same.
Your rebellious spirit?
Yes.
You're rebellious.
Am I?
Is she?
No,
I'm.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I have
against the system? Against what?
You said the system.
I'm trying to figure out what. I've never known you to be rebellious.
I clean up well.
You clean up well.
I clean up very well. But no, I mean, I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do
really?
it. Absolutely. And I'm okay with that. And sometimes just weigh the consequences and just say, I can take an L for that. And I'm okay with that.
Really?
I can.
Okay.
I've been like that since day one. No, don't touch. My first word was no. First sentence was no, don't touch me. And I have been like that ever since. Like, I know what I want, and, that's just been me. But what has changed over time is probably how I see people in relationships. And I think I'm turning into going into that softer side of me a little bit.
Really? Okay.
So I'm not just, everything in life is just not black and white. It's just definitely some gray. Mm-hmm. And then just trying to work on building more healthier relationships.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know you were rebellious.
Yes.
Okay. Paula?
Ask me again.
Paula, what do you think has stayed the same about you throughout your life, and what do you think has changed?
The way I love has definitely stayed the same, has grown a little more. What has changed in my life recently is how I see and view myself. I have gotten a lot of self-confidence, self-awareness. Mm-hmm. I know what I enjoy. I have a better understanding of life and how to handle situations better because I was always very emotional. Mm-hmm. So I know I'm learning to learn how to process things better, to get a better understanding and to deal with them better, not on an emotional level, but on a level where you can be reasonable with what's coming my way. So I've grown a lot in that aspect.
Okay. So what do you attribute that to mostly? Is that an experience? Is that mainly getting older?
Getting older, trying to alleviate a lot of stress, therapy, and looking for always a positive outcome in a negative situation, because I always believe that there's always something positive in anything. Mm-hmm. We can always have a positive outcome in anything if we really want it. And that's where I am right now. I'm all about, I don't want to be selfish, but I'm looking for self-gratification and happiness for myself. In order to be happy as a unit, you have to be happy with yourself. So just finding myself. Okay. And that's it.
Good answer. Do you have an answer for that?
Over time, really, I haven't really learned too much. I've just gotten into the relationship game not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it your first?
It was my first. It wasn't a successful one, but I did learn from it. Learn about myself as well. I can get over certain people. I can make myself happy without another person. You start to learn that stuff too. So yeah, it's a little bit here and there.
All right. I don't know. It's hard to ask a question and then think about the answer.
Right. It is.
And this is to me, I commend you on being able to think on your feet that fast. I can't think of something. What has stayed the same about me throughout my whole life? My ambition, my desire to want to be the best. I've been pretentious my whole life. I've always been, I think I've had a misguided view of what success looks like. And I think that's from examples growing up. So what's changed is my perception of what success looks like. Because I've driven myself crazy trying to look like the success that I thought success looked like. Mm-hmm. So I'm still at my age now, still trying to get to the point where I appreciate what I have, appreciate what I've accomplished. And I hear people all the time tell me that they think that I do pretty good.
You do?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get to the point right now. So I'm trying to learn and appreciate myself for who I am. Mm-hmm. That's what's changed about that. So my last question for you, ladies, is what advice might you give others about growing older?
Oh, I guess I need to answer that first since I'm the oldest one out of the bunch, right? The one takeaway that I could give everybody, what I've learned, is that because I was very immature for my age, and I think I still am, but one of the things that I have learned is, and I say it all the time, is that you have to learn how to enjoy yourself by yourself. You're never lonely. You make yourself lonely. You're never alone. Because once you really find yourself and get in tune with yourself, you find a lot of joy and you're able to live. And that's one of the things that I think that it's hard for everybody to do, because a lot of people I find don't know how to love themselves. But once they do, you will come into this glorifying emerging that you just find a brand new, it's just a brand new life. Once you open up your eyes and take that veil off and see yourself for really the wonderful person that you are, flaws and all.
Mine would be, it's going to come together.
It's going to come together.
Life is going to come together. I know that, you know, a lot of times we sell kids this fairy tale dream of how you're going to have this Cinderella story. You're going to have, you know, somebody come sweep you off your feet, but life is going to get messy, and life is going to look like it's more falling apart than you think it's coming together. But if you trust in God and you trust the process, it's going to come together, bit by bit, slow moments. But you just got to let go, trust, and just let things happen.
And I think to add to that, it doesn't happen at the same rate for everybody.
Right.
So comparing yourself to other people, that can hinder your progress and your growth as well. Yeah, okay. For mine, I think mine's twofold. Again, it's very pretentious. I think you always hear people, when you're coming up, they're saying, you know, take care of yourself. You only get one body. And I used to be the person who I was like, okay, that's just somebody old telling me. But I can see that looking back, I think last week I was saying to Rhonda and them about regret, and they were saying, well, you shouldn't regret things. But there are a lot of things I look back on and I totally regret. I regret that I didn't drink more water. I regret that I didn't take my blood pressure medicine when I was younger, because then I went into renal failure. So taking care of yourself, I would tell you to moisturize so that you don't get skin, so that you don't have to get Juvederm and things like that from wrinkles. So take care of your body, because you truly do indeed only get one. And I think the second thing would be to take advantage. I always hear, you know, take advantage of every opportunity that's afforded you. I was stubborn. That's why me and my brother, night and day. I love him to death, but we were given. I was the oldest, so I was given the opportunity first. But you know, when my mom said take piano lessons, I thought that was corny. He took it, and you know, on his part time, he pays for a church, making $500 a week. We got the same opportunities to go to college. My grandmother had paid for mine in advance through that thing when you're a baby. I went to school, and of course, we know my story. I've told it several times. I blew my money, wanted to live like I was in my apartment, staying in the dormitory, and just wanted to be best dressed on campus. So those type things, take advantage of the opportunities that are afforded you, because they will definitely, you know, pay off in the long run. Do you have anything to say about that?
Oh, no. Y'all had some really insightful stuff right
there.
All right. I'm just digesting it all, you know.
You're digesting it?
Yeah.
What about you, Nikki?
Stuff.
Any advice about growing older?
Just live.
Just live.
Just live.
Just live. Just live till you're dead, I guess.
But you know, one thing I want to add to yours is to make sure you take care of your mental health. We always forget about that mental health. And as
that's what my research paper is on, mental illness.
You have to, and that's important. People like to shy away from that, but the thing of it is that mental health helps you with your physical being. And I didn't realize that until I started going to therapy. And it does make you feel better when you take care of that part.
Was there a time when you were like embarrassed or you were apprehensive about going to therapy? In our community, it's kind of like...
Right. I mean, I wasn't, but I knew something was wrong. Something, I was feeling weird. I wasn't, you know, that's what I was telling my husband. I wasn't feeling it myself. Something was wrong. I don't know if I was having a midlife crisis. I don't know what was going on. So I was like, let me go and go talk to somebody, you know, because sometimes you have to talk to somebody outside your circle so you can be really vulnerable and transparent and get what it is that you need. So, no, I was not at all.
You know, this is going to start a whole other conversation, which I'm not going to do, but I just want to say that when I was going through my whole breakup thing, I had went to therapy a lot of times, but I was having a conflict between my faith and therapy, because I was like, if I'm praying to God to help deliver me, then I'm going to a therapist who's giving me all this doing this inner reflection and all these type things. I'm like, well, which one am I having faith in? So I stopped going to therapy. And there are times now when I'm like, I want to get back into therapy. Not coaching, but therapy, to actually, talk to somebody about trying to fix me. And I'm just like, I'm just going to leave it to God. So.
But I think, that's a whole conversation by itself. But I think that's when people get confused. Where I'm in the middle of the ocean in a boat, my boat is sinking, God come save me. And we're looking for this miracle to happen in our life, but God is sending vessels your way. But if it doesn't look the way we think it's supposed to look, we're missing the opportunity. I think God has given people gifts, talents that allow you to help, like a doctor. That's their gift, to be surgeons or whatever, nutritionists and stuff like that. And so people have a gift and went to school to be a therapist. And that is God's way of helping you. And your prayer should be, Lord, help me and put the right people in my life, because God uses people to help you along your journey. And then a lot of people have that conflict of, should I take medication, psychotropic medication for a mental health disability, because that shows lack of faith in God. But God loves you, and this is why He developed some of these medications, and He allowed people to do different things to help us. He knows we're going to struggle. So I don't think it's lack of faith, because you're still praying, asking God to help you, and this is just one form of intervention for it to help you.
I know that,
right?
But it's just like a train of thought that needs to be broken, because coming up, grandparents didn't go to nobody's therapy. They said, boy, you trust God and let Him work it out. He knows what you're going through, and it's just, I need to break myself.
They'll be like, you don't need those people in your business. You don't be going in. And that's the thing, going in telling the people your business. But I'm trying to communicate to you, and I'm trying to tell you my feelings, but you're going to tell me how I feel. I can't communicate with you because you're really not open to hear me, because you think that I'm telling you a bunch of malarkey, or how I'm feeling. You don't feel this way, but you feel that way. So it doesn't work when I'm sitting down trying to communicate with you.
Right. Well, ladies, it's our time.
This is great.
This
is great. We have to do it again.
Most definitely.
Super great.
Share your contact information.
On all social media at Rhaea Goff, and my website.
Spell that for them.
It's my website is Rhaea, RHAEA, Goff, GOF as in Frank, Frank.com.
Okay. What about you, Paula B?
Can I get your password?
You sure can. Here we go. And you sure can.
Make sure you come out this. Well, it's sold out. The event this weekend.
I'm super excited about this event. It's sold out.
Oh, okay.
Patricia Roundtree, that's our girl.
Yeah.
Doing her thing. Laquan, doing her thing. So. This is our second event with them.
That's right.
This is our second red carpet event. So we're getting ready to do some big things. So I'm looking forward to fashion. Here we come.
Awesome. Make sure you tune in next week at 7 p.m. same place, same time. And until then, everybody be blessed.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and Friends. Please be sure to visit us on the web at letsfaceitradio.com and at Let's Face It Radio on Facebook for the latest in show information and exciting, innovating ways that you can be a part of the show. So tune in next week, same place, same time, for real people, real topics, real talk. Let's face it.